Mark Yusko, founder of Morgan Creek Capital, one of the earliest institutional Bitcoin bulls, a guy who manages billions of dollars, just said this about dog.
Like, I'm a believer in runes, and like, the guys will love me. I'll say dog, I like dog go to the moon. And like, how could you like, that's just a meme coin. I'm like, yeah, but it's a meme coin on the right chain. I like proof of work, right? You have to do the work.
Totally.
I want it on chain. Like my PFP is on the Bitcoin blockchain.
You just heard him say it. I like dog. It's a meme coin, but on the right chain. And when a legacy macro hedge fund guy who lives and breathes fundamentals starts talking about runes and Bitcoin inscriptions, something is happening. Today, I want to break down why dog might be the single most asymmetric play heading into the global liquidity expansion we are about to see, why institutions are starting to wake up to it, and why I think dog is in the best position and on the best chain at the best moment. So let's pause for just a second and actually appreciate what Mark Yusko just said. This is a guy who manages billions of dollars in traditional and digital assets, has been talking about the long-term cycle for decades. And he comes out and he says, I like dog. Dog go to the moon. It's a meme coin on the right chain. This is the bridge moment for macro fundamental value investors. The bridge moment between institutional macro thinkers and Bitcoin's cultural layer. Because for years, institutions didn't care at all about meme coins. They cared about proof of work, unseizable assets, on-chain permanence. Now here's what's crazy with this number 2 coin on Bitcoin. Dog sits at the intersection of all of those. You heard Yusko talk about proof of work, and then he went deep into why inscriptions matter.
If you think about it, if everything's going to be digital, every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of fine art, every building, every private business, if ownership, not the physical thing, but if the ownership and the digital identity, like my driver's license, my marriage license, my passport, if all of that's going to be digital, I kind of like the idea that it's on a chain. It can't be seized, can't be corrupted, can't be hacked, can't be turned off.
This is the worldview that leads directly to dog. When everything becomes a digital asset, stocks, bonds, real estate, identity, the cultural layer that lives on Bitcoin becomes insanely valuable. Dog isn't just a meme coin. So many people confuse that part. It's the first meme of the runes era, and runes are the cleanest, most efficient, most trust minimized fungible token protocol ever built on Bitcoin. So dog represents Bitcoin culture, and it is tokenized. That's why institutions, I think, will eventually understand it. They've already understood Dogecoin. I need to stop real quick and pull up a dog chart to explain something to you. At the beginning of the video, I talked about dog being an asymmetric play and probably the strongest of this crypto cycle. This is a dog chart. It's sitting around $100 million. As we discuss the fundamentals of dog and what sets it apart from every meme coin that has ever existed, please keep this in mind. If you go look at CoinMarketCap and you look at Dogecoin, and we look at last bull market, $82 billion market cap is what Dogecoin went to. Dogecoin's currently sitting at a top 10 market cap right now in all of the crypto space. So when we start looking at dog and the fact that it sits on Bitcoin, it is way more decentralized. It is the number 1 coin on Bitcoin besides BTC itself. And you start looking at the valuation of this thing sitting at just above $100 million, you zoom out and you understand the liquidity flows. I've been talking a lot about the business cycle and PMI. We get bull markets when PMI starts expanding. Dog has not had a bull market with PMI expanding yet, but when the liquidity flows, what do you think might happen for this number 1 meme coin on Bitcoin? These are the valuations just to show you. A $10 billion valuation for dog from where we sit right now is around almost a 9,000% gain. That's a $10 billion market cap, and it's on Bitcoin. Remember, Dogecoin went to 80 some billion last cycle. What happens when liquidity flows? What happens to dog price? And I just want to mention that our risk model for dog right now is sitting at a 13. For any crypto, this is an incredibly strong accumulation area. This is a low risk area. Now that we have QT ending, we're going into 2026 and anticipating PMI expansion. A 13 on this coin that sits on Bitcoin is, for me, a very just nice looking opportunity in terms of upside versus downside risk. Now here's what goes unnoticed far too often when it comes to dog. Dog is the fairest launch ever done. There's no question about it. And I think this part is something that a lot of people are just not getting. Check this out. This is straight from the guy who launched dog. Free and fair is the difference between Runestone and every other meme coin. If you dig into other meme coins, you will find that at least one of these mechanisms was used to game the distribution: pre-sale, team allocation, VC token warrants, gifts to influencers, buy before tweeting, share first in alpha chat, farmers, bots, game airdrop algo. Airdrop algo favors whales or team. For people confused about how we went from $0 to $550 million, 24 days, our free and fair distribution that involved none of these mechanics is the reason. We airdropped Runestone for free to 112,384 Bitcoin addresses that were active in the first year of the Ordinals protocol. We did this as a 100% volunteer initiative funded by donors. And by the way, it was Runestone inscription holders that got the free and fair dog airdrop. And Leo went a step further. And again, he's the guy who's been building this dog ecosystem from day one. And he doubled down about what Yusko said in that clip that we saw. What Mark is saying isn't even debatable. Dog settles on the most censorship-resistant ledger of record ever created. Other meme coins may be worth more than Dog for now, but it is simply a fact that Dog is the most decentralized and secure meme coin in existence. That right there is the entire thesis in one shot. Dog is on the most censorship-resistant ledger ever created, on the most secure consensus system in human history, the most decentralized meme coin in existence. That's why Yusko gets it. That's why Bitcoin people get it. That's why Dog is completely different. Now, I just want to say as I'm recording this video, this isn't a sentiment. This is data. You all know me. I'm not some big meme coin person that's just nonstop for years just been chasing meme coins. Look at some of these key points. Dog nearly hit $1 billion market cap without Coinbase, Binance, or Gemini. It's the highest engagement token across Bitcoin social metrics. It is the liquidity sink of the entire Runes ecosystem. Dog didn't need a VC. It didn't need a presale. It didn't need manufactured hype. It grew because Bitcoin culture wanted a flagship meme, and Dog became that meme. Then Kraken did something crazy. They made Dog the first major rune listing ever. Here's Kraken Exchange. We studied the runes. They spoke to us. They whispered a name: Dog. That post hit nearly 5,000 likes and it spread everywhere. Kraken didn't just list Dog, they gave it narrative energy. They made Dog the face of Bitcoin memes on centralized exchanges. And here's the kicker to it all. Dog is still only listed on Kraken and a few small exchanges, which means the largest wave of liquidity, tier 1 listings, has not even begun. And just to show you how extreme the Dog engagement really is, here's what Vincent from Cryptolution just posted. Once again, Gemini has seen the most engagement from the Dog community, outweighing XRP posts. He includes analytics from Grok showing that in the past 24 hours, at the time of the post, Dog outpaced every other community, even XRP, in direct engagement with Gemini. That means more tags, more replies, more pressure, more retail energy, more coordinated action. According to the post, Dog's campaign for a Gemini listing actually included influential posts sending daily BTC deposits to Kraken until Gemini lists Dog, hundreds of reposts, direct calls like Dog go to Gemini and win Dog, Gemini staff responding back because the replies were so overwhelming. That is not normal meme behavior. That is coordinated cultural force, and exchanges cannot ignore it, especially as we step into a new era of liquidity after years of liquidity draining. This is the part institutions never understand until it's too late. Dog has the most active, most real, most grassroots army in crypto. And what's crazy is I record this video, it's not just institutions that don't notice it yet. It's much of the retail space in crypto. Vincent on X said, according to Grok, Dog has the highest engagement with the Coinbase Blue Carpet application among meme coins. With Dog already listed on Kraken pre-bull market, you can only imagine what happens with these other tier 1s. Now let's zoom out and talk cycles, my favorite part. Every major meme cycle followed the same pattern. Bitcoin leads, liquidity expands, capital rotates to higher beta. Memes outperform everything. But here's the twist. This is the first ever meme cycle on Bitcoin during a global liquidity expansion. As we go into 2026, PMI has a very strong shot at expanding. Fed liquidity returning. Global money supply increasing. Asset prices entering melt-up territory. So what has the highest opportunity in those environments? Meme coins are very high on that list. And what has the strongest chain narrative? Bitcoin. Dog sits at the intersection of Bitcoin culture, runes innovation, zero insider allocations, complete organic demand, tier 1 listings ahead, and retail meme mania. This is why Dog's upside is so asymmetric. Dog is Bitcoin's Shiba Inu, but with a fair launch and absolutely zero influencer paid mechanics. Right now, there are 100,000 plus holders, just over $100 million market cap, which is small. $12 million month 1 volume on Kraken. Still no Coinbase, Binance, Gemini, Bybit, or OKX. Whales accumulating quietly. Think about the math. SHIB went to $40 billion. DOG is at just around 100 million. Even if DOG captured just 10% of SHIB's previous mania, you're looking at pretty insane gains. And if DOG does become the #1 meme coin of this cycle, especially because it's on Bitcoin, it's game over. Mark Yusko said it best.
But it's a meme coin on the right chain.
When a global macro guy, billionaire fund manager, proof of work fan starts talking about DOG, the narrative has already left the runway. DOG represents Bitcoin, fairness, permanence, culture, community, scarcity, and asymmetry heading into liquidity season. If you're not in yet, I'm not doing this video so you go out and buy DOG. I'm tracking my crypto journey right now, and DOG is a huge piece of my portfolio. So I'm not saying go buy. I'm not even sitting here saying you're going to miss the boat, everybody. But I am saying, as I track this journey, as I track DOG and what it's doing and the liquidity cycle and what I think crypto is about to do, it looks like the DOG rocket is definitely preparing for some liftoff. If you're not in our intelligence system, get back there right now. We have the free trial. We absolutely have a DOG risk model for all DOG holders that want to plan their strategy on the macro with an unemotional approach. I appreciate all of you watching. I will see you in the next video. God bless.